Well, hello. These are the instructions for how you will complete the first chapter of your synthesis paper. Uh, while the topics will be two different, you'll be discussing desolation in the first section and consolation in the second section of chapter one. Both sections are asking you to write a paper basically explaining cause and effect. In the first section, it'll be the causes and effects of desolation. In the second section, it'll be the causes and effects of consolation. So while you might be looking at this you might be using these instructions in the consolation assignment, the pattern is identical. I'm just going to use desolation um, to explain it. So when you open up assignment 2.2 or assignment 2.4, you will see a landing slide, and then you will see a series of slides that first tell you to describe generally what the topic is, consolation or desolation, according to the readings you did in the assignment from Mark Thibodeau. This will be assignments 2.1 and 2.3. Then there will be a slide for you to plan how you want to, or how thoroughly you want to answer the question, and that the thoroughness of that will affect your grade. There'll be a slide where you will actually write up the experiences of cause and effect, and then finally, the last slide will be a brief kind of a conclusion slide tying up your experiences back to your original description of consolation or desolation and the categories that Thibodeau uses to describe those feelings. So this is what your slide will look like. Now I'm going to jump over to a copy that I've made so that I can walk you through all of the steps. So your initial slide on which will be slide 2 for you um, will ask you to write a paragraph that describes what desolation is, and then name and write a summary of the way you experience the desolation. So you will have had the reading in 2.1. You will, in this box, just give me a general definite. This is where you will plan your topic sentence. This is where you will plan your body sentences. And then you will write them up in this white box here. So for me, I did desolation as, let me see if I can make this a little bigger. There we go. So desolation as, so I described desolation here. The feelings that I felt that match with what Thibodeau said, I would describe those feelings as disquietude and agitation. And then here I'm going to just summarize what Thibodeau means by the feeling of disquietude and agitation. And then I'm going to write up that summary here. And for me, I did it in two different paragraphs. So I had a Thibodeau paragraph up top, and then the other section, my own experience down below. You could do this in one paragraph. It's really up to you. But remember, a paragraph is an idea. Then the next thing you're going to do is you need to decide what score you want on in this assignment. You must include the part one has to be in your paper, and part three has to be in your paper. You will you will earn your different grades by how thoroughly you do part two. So again, if you don't do part one, if you don't do part three, you can't get any point. You won't get any points for the assignment. So if you want a 13 out of 20 here, you can see on this little scoring guide, you should just do the boxes that are on the red background. So you'll do this top box, and then you'll give me one cause of desolation and one effect of that desolation, and then a second cause and a second effect, and that will be a 13 out of 20. So if you do that, this planning box will look like this. So I've described how it feels, what that feeling of agitation and disquietude is to me, and then I've described a cause of that. So when I get frustrated, so a thing that causes me to feel desolation is being frustrated. And then that affects me by the spiral of worry. My second cause, it'd be when I am getting anxious about the future, causes me to feel desolation by being disquieted. And you can notice these arrows all point back up to the box. So it should have cause, desolation, effect. Cause, desolation, effect. So that's if I wanted 13 out of 20, I would just do these two red boxes. Now, if I wanted 16 out of 20, then I'm going to do the red boxes and the yellow boxes. So instead of just doing two causes and effects, I'm going to do three. So that will look like this. So you can see here that I've added a third cause and a third effect of feeling desolation. So I was going to get 16 out of 20. I would take all of this and turn it in I would write this up on the next slide. So if I was going to do 18 out of 20, I would do all of the red, all of the yellow, and then I would add this green section where I would describe why the cause and the effect makes it hard for me to feel God's love. So I've done that for this cause and effect. I've done that here for this cause and effect, and I've done that here for this cause and effect. So if I write this up in good paragraphs, I will earn 18 out of 20. If I want to try to get 100%, and this is going to be very difficult, I don't know, it's going to be hard. You're going to have to really show me something spectacular to get 100%. Then I'm going to have to show be able to show you that I can generalize, or you'll have to show me that you can generalize or transfer the knowledge that you have gained beyond this. So if I was going to try that, I would write up something like this, where I am describing, slide out of the way, where the desolation comes from, some sort of broader thesis of desolation. So I'll do that there. Then, no matter what you've done, so whether you've done just the red and the yellow, the red, yellow, and the green, or all of the boxes, you will then write that up in the next slide. It says part 2. Now, when I'm writing, I like to write in Google Docs because I like to write using voice typing. So here is me opening up. This is the Google Doc I actually created it on. And you can see here, if you look in the history, this took me probably close to an hour to work on. So, and I like to use the tool up here, voice typing. So that way I can just click and I can talk and it will type up what I want to do, and then I can go back and correct it. So here's this is what I wrote for all of them. So I would then copy. So I just copy then the section and I'll paste it in here. So this would look like this. Now, this is me writing up the entire, this is, slide me over here. This is my attempt at getting 100%. So you'll see I'm describing desolation. I'm describing the cause. I'm describing the effect of the desolation. And I'm describing about how that makes it hard for me to feel God. I describe the cause, the effect. So I'll cause and effect. Then I know God. The other one, cause and effect, and I connect God here. Cause and effect and connect God here. Actually, I'm going to make this one. There we go. So first one, second one, third one, and then here's my attempt at getting the 20 out of 20, connecting the thesis. So that's the second part. Then the last part, which you must do no matter what grade you're going to do, you have to connect them back. So the way you're going to do that is I've kind of laid out the topic sentence for you. So you're going to just, all of these things here that are underlined or in parentheses, you're just going to replace them with the topics. So, right, my feeling would be agitation and worry. So I will correct that here, and I will say, when I feel agitated and worried, and I discussed, and I will talk, and I will name those three things here. Worrying, future, angry at friends, So all three of those, all if I did three things, which I did, I'll have three things here. If you're only doing the two, you would just do two things here, and then I would cause me to feel right, and this is that feel agitated because, and I'll state why here, and then here's my then you need to explain specifically how each of those things. So there's lack of trust, um, looking at my own when I look to my own power, and when I act petty, and how they match what Thibodeau describes as fear of vegetation, and then I write them up here. So once you do that, you will submit the assignment, and I will give you comments. If it's great, I'll just give you whatever grade you wanted. Um, so like if I was going to do if I did this one where I wanted the 18 out of 20, then I would you if I did everything right, I would get an 18 out of 20, and you'd be great. So you'll know then you'll be done and you can turn this in. I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to meet with me in class or send me an email. And remember, when you submit this when you're looking for help, not necessarily that you've completed it. I will make comments on this on your assignment and return it to you if it is not up to the grade that if it's not complete for any reason.